Hi, welcome back. So today we're going to kind of flesh out some of what I started talking about the last time, which was the equation, this time the good one, not just the calories in, calories out one that I told you about, but the real equation that will help you to better understand how you can go about losing weight without exercise. Now, I'm going to throw this disclaimer in though. That doesn't mean that we don't believe in exercise or that we don't believe in physical activity. We do. We just are not of the mindset, and we have plenty of studies to back it up, that people who have a BMI over 25, especially those with a BMI over 30, are not in the physical condition that they need to be in to seriously do any amount of real physical exercise. And so we'd rather have you start dropping the pounds and then looking into, and we'll walk you through it, the habits of motion. My husband has already done, my husband Joe, who's also a pharmacist, has already done a video on NEAT, NEAT, non-exercise activity that causes thermogenesis. And then he'll do more expounding on that. But let's get into that equation a little bit more, because I wanted you, again, to understand TEE, or total energy expenditure, equals basal metabolic rate, or BMR, plus PAL, which stands for physical activity level, plus TEF, thermic effect of food. They're all very important in this equation, and I'm going to go through each and every one of them and help you to better understand why. So first, let's look at TEE. So total energy expenditure is the amount of calories that it's going to take to get your body through the day. Now, let's go back to the original bad equation, which it is bad only in the sense that there is not enough to it to help you to truly understand. So if your TEE, your total energy expenditure, exceeds what your caloric intake is, you will start to lose weight. The problem is, how do we really calculate that TEE? Who's ever given you an equation to help you to calculate that and know really what your total energy expenditure is? All right, let's look at a man, let's say, for example, a friend of mine who might be 6'3" or 6'4" and just tall. He's male, he's younger than me. I'm female, I'm small, I'm shrinking besides that. How can you compare? Like, how can we look at an app, and there are so many out there, but one comes to mind that says, well, but you're not eating enough, based on this or that, under 1,200 calories is going to put you in starvation. I beg to differ with that because of the size that I am, the age that I am. And so in order for me actually to get into fat burn, I have to get to 1,000 or less calories a day. Just no way around it. It's just the way it is. And I know some of you are flipping out, wondering how you could do that. You can't even do that in a meal. I understand that, but we're going to help you there. So let's talk about BMR. So when we look at your basal metabolic rate, that's what it actually takes for your body to do what it needs to do. Your heart to pump, your brain to function, to think, your lungs to inhale and exhale, your diaphragm to cause that to happen, your digestive system, and on and on and on and on. Is there a way to really change that? Well, not going into starvation is the best way. So, that's one of the things we're going to talk about as one of the primary pieces to why this equation is going to work for you. So TEE, weight in pounds, that's your current weight. Current weight. Weight in pounds times 11 calories. Now, grab a pen if you need to, pencil, piece of paper, hit pause, that's fine. Let's really deep dive into this, because I want you to totally understand this. Because if you only were to lose 10% of your current weight, it would lower your risk of disease by as much as 50%. Let's think about the implications there for a minute. Over the last year and a half, what's been our biggest health worry? The elephant in the room, right? So what if we had all those that had been overweight at the time, when the information started to come out about the link to what we called co-morbidities, which we really truly know are all related to obesity? What if we knew that if you cut back only 10% on your body weight, you would reduce your risk of serious disease by 50%? Think about that. We've had 18 months to think about that. Now it's time to really man and woman up, and let's get this done. Let's dig in and really figure it out. So TEE, weight in pounds current, times 11 calories. That doesn't mean weight where you're trying to go, but weight in pounds current. This will give you what it's actually going to take in calories to maintain where you're at right now. That's not where you want to be or where you want to go, but it's giving us a starting point. Now we're going to take this number that you just calculated, your TEE, times 1.2 if you're doing light exercise. So if you're at a BMI of, say, 25, 26, 27, and you can walk 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week, that's considered light exercise. That's light exercise. That's not exercise. That's just walking through your lunch. That's all that is. So you could take your TEE, multiply it 1.2 by just doing that. What if you're sedentary? What if you're that female that just had a baby? What if you're that person that just had hip replacement? What if you're the person more my age who decided finally to get their bunion done? You're not walking, right? I mean, you're not. So you don't get the 1.2. That's all. You just don't get the 1.2. It doesn't mean that it has to be there. All I'm saying is it's going to give you a leg up. So your TEE can be multiplied by 1.5 when and if you're ready to move into moderate exercise. Moderate exercise is adding maybe some anaerobic to it, you know, a little bit of weights here and there, a little hand weights sitting while you're on the couch or something. Not a big deal, but you get 1.5 for that. When you get really crazy and you get your BMI down to 21, 22, and you're really ready, you're really optimizing, you get 1.7 times your TEE for heavy exercise. Now, heavy exercise, what does that mean? It means my crazy husband that goes out on his bike for, you know, an hour and a half a day. That's what it means, all right? So essentially, what this means is that now you have a number. You have a number TEE that if you look at it and you were able to subtract just 500 calories a day off of that number, the math is clear. The math doesn't, it's science. It doesn't, you don't need to mess with it. 500 calories a day means that after 1 week, you would have burned 3,500 calories. You would have burned off 1 pound of fat in a week. Not that impressive, but you know what? When my weight just kept consistently going up, I would have taken that all day long. It means that at the end of a month, it'd be down 4 pounds. 2 months, it'd be down 8 pounds. I'd have been out of wood. I'd have been out of the woods in 3 or 4 months. Truly. So that would have made me so excited, especially if, you know, now that I know that it works consistently 100% of the time, it's calculatable. I mean, you can look at it and say, well, I got a wedding to go to. I need to lose 20 pounds and this is how many weeks I've got. Well, what I got to do? This is what you got to do. These are the numbers. So, you know, do the math. I'm hoping you're writing this down. If you wanted to lose 2 pounds a week, just 2 pounds a week, 1,000 calories a day. All right, now you just calculated your TEE at your current weight. I got to know that you got 1,000 calories you can take off that number. I know that you do because I personally live on 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day. I know you got more than that. So I know you can get to that 2 pounds a week. So that's what I want you to really be thinking about. Now, how are we going to get there? It's very simple, and I hope you're writing. I'm going to put some stuff up on the screen for you later on when I get done with all of this, but it's very important that these key components are met, because if they aren't, you will go into starvation, you will deprive yourself. This will not work. This is the way that it works. And the reason that it works, we talked about your BMR, we talked about your PAL. The third reason that it works is because of that TEF factor, the thermic effect of food. If there's no food there can't be a thermic effect. Okay, so let's talk about this. You're going to nourish your body every 2.5 to 3 hours throughout the waking course of your day. Sounds crazy, stay with me. 2.5 to 3 hours. 2.5 I say because females tend to need to have the 2.5 time frame. Males can go the 3 hours. 2.5 if you're a female, 3 if you're a male. You need to have your first intake, call it whatever you want. Call it breakfast, call it fueling, call it nourishment, mini meal, I don't care what you call it, within 30 minutes of when you rise in the morning. Because you've gone all night, right, without food. That's important because the first thing your body will do if you don't is start to, with your BMR. That's not what we want to happen. We want it up here. We want to keep it up here because as long as we keep it up here, we're burning your fat for fuel. Breakfast within 30 minutes. Make healthy choices throughout the day. That means choosing vegetables and carbs that are low glycemic index. You can look that up. The next thing is to balance your macros. We talked about macros in the last video. Let's hit it real quick again. Macros are your macronutrients: protein, carbohydrates, fats. When we talk about eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, you need to have a plan. You need to be thinking about that either the night before or at the very latest that morning. So what does that look like? So we're looking at a day that, let's say you're up at 6:30-ish, right? Maybe you're not. Adjusted accordingly. You're a grown-up. 7 a.m. breakfast. If you want to call it a breakfast, call it a mini meal. I don't care what you call it. Just get it in there. The next meal for men would be 10 a.m. We'll just deal with the men, and you can shave it back, ladies. I know you're capable. 10 a.m. mini meal of some sort, 100 calories. 1 p.m. small lunch, could be maybe 200 calories. 4 p.m. another mini meal, nourishment, fueling, snack, whatever you want to call it. 7 p.m. is going to be your dinner. We call it a lean and green because in the beginning, especially when you're looking for fat loss, you're looking for a lean protein and low glycemic index vegetable as your starch or your carbohydrate option. And then finally, one last fueling or nourishment at 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever time it is before you turn in. Now, before you say in the comments, well, you know, I read in Woman's World that you're not supposed to eat after 6 p.m. Or I read in whatever, that fitness magazine, that it's not good for you to... Please, has any of that worked so far? Because if it has, why are you here? And if it hasn't, flush it and let's start over again, right? Isn't that what we're doing? We're learning the best way to approach this without exercise. And I'm telling you, this really works 100% of the time that it's followed 100%. So stay with me, all right? I'm going to give you a few more little things that I want you to keep in mind. And these are just rules of the road, things to remember. Always combine your macros. What does that mean? If your lean and green for the day is going to be lean chicken, white meat chicken, 6 ounces of white meat chicken on 3 cups of chopped romaine lettuce, and you're calling it a chicken Caesar, even though you don't have croutons and Parmesan on it, but you've got a low-fat, low-carbohydrate Caesar dressing from the produce section of the aisle, and in the refrigerated area there, and that's going to be your meal. But you start with the chicken, decide that you're full, take a break. That's one thing. A break of 10 minutes or 15 minutes is one thing. But to come back an hour or two later and then consume your lettuce, no bueno. We're not having that, all right? Don't do that. That's part of how you probably got to this dance in the first place, was just, you know, going for the whole can of tuna fish or the 2 hard-boiled eggs or whatever crazy thing you did, because I know the crazy things I did, and that's all I can really share. So do the smart thing. Eat your chicken with your lettuce, and if you need to take a break, come back to it. But keep your macros combined. Don't separate them out, all right? That's important. Don't skip a fueling, a nourishment, a meal, whatever you want to call it. Don't skip it. If you don't get 6 of them in the course of the day, even right up to the minute that you go to bed, even if you have to make yourself some form of a protein shake or a portion of a protein shake that's, you know, there's a lot of them out there, but a lot of them have a lot more than 100 calories in them, so be very careful. If you're sticking to 100, you might have to do a portion of that shake. Even if it's a shake because you can't eat anything that late at night. I'm that person. I personally have a hiatal hernia. If I put food, real food, in my mouth that late at night, I'm going to have a hard time at night because of the hernia there. But a shake is fine. So work it out. This is what a health coach is for. This is why we personally health coach people, because these little things that are obstacles that have held you back in the past are things that as a personal health coach, I can help you through. So, but I'm here to provide you as much information as I can. Hopefully we're piquing your interest, and it means that, you know, maybe you take a few steps on the journey and say, I need help. I need help. Help me out. That's what I'm here for. All right. But in the meantime, maybe I can give you enough pointers to get you started and help you to understand better. If nothing else, help you understand why you're here and what brought you here. How did you get here? How did you just live on, half or a quarter of a pound of boiled shrimp throughout the course of a day and still manage to put a pound or two on over the next 24 to 36 hours? I know. Been there. Did it. Don't have the t-shirt on anymore because I'm not doing that anymore. So hopefully we can lose that t-shirt for you too. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is that when we give you portions, which I'll be getting into in the next video, but when we give you portions, I just want you to keep this with your bullet points. Weigh your proteins cooked. Don't weigh, you have to get some idea if you're cutting up a salmon fillet, how much of it you're actually going to have for your 5 ounces of salmon, because salmon is a fatty protein. 5 ounces is a reasonable portion there, but weigh it after you cook it. I'll give you a perfect example. My husband and I, we enjoy shrimp. I buy a bag of shrimp. I buy a pound bag of shrimp. I cook the bag of shrimp. I weigh half of them, the other half. What do I discover? They're no longer 8 ounces anymore. They're now 7 ounces, which, by the way, is a portion of shrimp. So if you buy shrimp by the pound, a half a pound of frozen shrimp when cooked weighs 7 ounces. So weigh your proteins cooked, because otherwise you will undereat. I promise you this, if you eat less, you will lose less. So be sure that you're getting all of your calories in, all of your food in, even if it's, it has to be in the form of some liquid nutrition before you go to bed at night. Make sure that that happens. And in the comments below, if you have any questions, suggestions, ideas, thoughts, anything, came to mind as I was doing this, things that you'd like answered, I'd be more than happy to do that. Please do the like button, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see and get notifications of videos as they pop up. We're committed to continuing on this journey with you and helping you to understand as best we can via this vehicle of communication. And again, if you think that you might be interested in having someone help you walk through this journey alongside of you, our links in the description below, our links are there. You can email us. You can reach out to us on Facebook. A health assessment takes about 30 minutes to find out whether you're healthy and well enough to go through the program as we describe it, but also is this program a good fit for you? So we'd be happy to do that. In the meantime, stay well.